Attention all business owners. Are you tired of managing your finances and taxes on your own? Let the experts at 1-800-TAX-MASTERS help. Our team of experienced professionals offers a range of services to help you keep your finances in order, from personal and business tax returns to monthly accounting, quarterly and annual tax planning, and virtual controller and CFO services. With our virtual services, you can get the support you need without ever having to leave your office. Don't let taxes and finances stress you out any longer. Visit www.1800taxmasters.com today and let us handle the numbers so you can focus on growing your business. And welcome to a special edition of Stuck in My Mind podcast. This is going to be a Valentine special. I'm excited for my guest. He's actually been on my podcast, but he's only been on the audio version of it. This is his first time actually, since I've made the transition of video, this is his first time on the show. Welcome to the show, Bruce Starr.
Hey, I really appreciate you having me. I know the last time we spoke, it was all about comedy. And as we were talking about earlier, I was a talent agent and manager out in Hollywood during the 80s. And
Yes.
I happened to, through diligence and hard work and making friends with people at the improvisation on Melrose, I ended up befriending dozens and dozens of stand-up comedians and represented 35 comedians. Howie Mandel, the unknown comic, Paul Reiser, Bobby Slayton. These are all people that I represented. But while I was out there, I was looking at how crazy relationships are out
So
there.
now that you bring that up, we're here because this is a special Valentine's edition. But you said it before, comedy is your love, but relationships is your true love. You said this is what you really want to do, is work on being a relationship coach and all that. What made you want to do it now?
Well, I've always been doing it, except that
Yes.
when I went out to LA, I took a break from really going into it. But when I was out there, me and the boys would go see a lady named Dr. Pat Allen. Dr. Pat Allen is a genius when it came to relationships. Every week, she would drive from Orange County up to Hollywood and fill a movie theater with actors and actresses and producers and casting directors who were lost in space because they bit the bullet. They went for fame and fortune, whether they got it or not. And they were stuck without relationships, loving relationships, committed relationships. When I tell people here on the East Coast that, hey, there's something called body trader relationships. I started that word. And you asked the question, why did I get started? You know, we get our hearts broken. Many people get their heart broken when they're the most vulnerable. Could be 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, whatever it was for you. Maybe it was 22, 26, whatever it was. But if you fell in love and you got your heart broken, you're totally vulnerable. You gave your what I call a full pie, not a pizza pie. You gave your whole pie to someone, no reservation. You believed it was going to be love and that was going to be it. If that didn't work out, if she broke up with you, or if you're a woman, a guy broke up with you, or his parents broke you up, or her parents broke you up, if you were anything like me, you were totally unprepared to go from, oh, I'm so in love, I'm loving what's going on, to nothing, alone, lonely, angry, bitter. And I needed to find out how that could happen. How can someone who supposedly profess their love for you, how could someone so easily change their mind. And that really right there, because I came from a family of three mothers. Let me explain. I had two much older sisters and my mom, and they all three loved me. And I was the final child, the boy. My dad loved me. My mom, I had so much love. When I went out into the world and fell in love, I didn't know it could be any different. I didn't know that it could end. I didn't know that someone could change their mind. I didn't know that. So I proceeded full steam ahead, all in, as they say on the poker tables. And things didn't work out. And I was brokenhearted. And I said, love is so important. All my studies, all my spiritual studies tells me love is so, it's really all there is. And everything else that we make up, fame, fortune, going after the bucks, going after the careers, that's all nice. We all have to fit into this world, but it's all a little empty if you're doing it alone and you're making money. You don't even know why you're making money. There's no one in your life. And I'm going to tell you one more quick thing. There's a good chance that if the parents broke you up, they didn't like you enough. They didn't like me enough. I wasn't a doctor. I wasn't going to be a lawyer. I wasn't going to be an Indian chief. I wasn't going to be a stockbroker. I wasn't going to be, something, whatever that made sense to the parents. And they probably said, if their son, they probably said, look, wait until you go to college. Wait till you get a job. When you get a job and you're making so much money, you can have anybody that you want. A big falsehood. They said to the girl, don't don't get involved with this guy. I know you love him. You say you love him. He loves you. Don't get involved with him. After you graduate college, you'll meet a doctor. You'll meet a lawyer. You'll meet a successful stockbroker, a CEO, a president. But that doesn't happen either because that's not based on love either. So here you go. You got this boy who's 25 years old, making 100 grand a year, and all he's finding are women that are going after him because of his money. And he's going after the hot, sexy babe. So it's a complicated world out there. And we need to keep love in the forefront, not in the background.
It's funny that you. So I'm married. I love my wife, but she doesn't understand. She gets upset when I say I choose to love her. She doesn't understand what I mean by that, and it's because the way I was brought up. I was raised by my sister and my mom, so I was raised by two moms,
Here you go.
and they love me to death. I am the baby.
Here you go.
I'm the youngest of all my mom's children, and so I know what it is to be loved unconditionally by someone.
Here you go.
And I'm the kind of person that I love till it hurts. And so for me, I like when one of the things that really cemented me and my wife was when we got together, I found this to be the sexiest thing. She goes, "So do you have a passport?" And I'm like, "No, I don't have one." Well, she says, "Well, we need to remedy that because I like to travel." So that already had pointed to me that she saw this relationship going somewhere.
Nice.
And she was like, "I like to travel and I would like for you to be a part of that. So we need to get you we need to get you a passport." So since then, I've got my passport stamped quite a few times. I've been to Aruba, Jamaica, Bahamas, the Dominican Republic. So to be able to find someone that, yeah, we have our issues once in a while, but the love is there because we know that we know what we want. And yes, there's sometimes we have a breakdown in communications, but for the most part, we do communicate very well. And that's one thing that I tell a lot of people is you have to have that communication with your partner in
Absolutely.
order for you to both be on the same page.
Absolutely. When I was a single guy, and I was a single guy for quite a long time because after I got my heart broken, I was a combination of tangled up heart, not wanting to expose the heart, not wanting to show that heart again because it just hurts so much. Uh, I was out there, dating for years and years, and there were things I didn't have in my life that a lot of women wanted, and I didn't have those things. And then I met my wife. My wife wasn't a game player. She was a real person. It wasn't hot and cold with her. She showed me that she cared for me and that I was her man. And that never really happened before. And that's how I've been with the same woman for 24 years now. It's because it was put together like what you're saying on solid ground, not just the hot sex. Hey, hot sex is great. Not just beauty, not just body parts, yours, hers, all good. But people are going to find that, when they get a little older, it's got to go deeper than that. It's got to
No,
go much further than that.
yeah, you have to definitely find someone that shares the same vision as you, shares the same, wants to do the same things as you do. And I'm blessed in that regard where we know we want to we don't our goal is to retire our jobs and be able to do whatever we want. So whenever we want to go travel, we can go travel. And her thing is she really wants to spend more time, just me and her, going to do things. We both have older children. We're grandparents now,
Woo!
and so we're at the point where we want to just enjoy each other's company and enjoy whatever time we have.
Wow. Listen, you're incredibly well directed. You're well focused. I find that the biggest problem that people have right now is this: thinking they have too many choices. If she's not perfect, if he's not perfect, I'll find some. Oh, they look. You know, for 5,000 years, we didn't have the internet, and we're frozen.
Oh, just you keep going,
Okay,
because now what StreamYard has now is local recordings. So even if you freeze a little, if you see freezing on my, if you see if I look frozen on my side and
yeah,
you look frozen on your side, if you look frozen to me, it's still recorded
okay,
locally on your system. And when
okay.
it's
Now we're
done,
back. Now we're back.
it'll upload. So yeah, just keep talking whenever. Don't worry
Okay.
about that.
Uh, I don't remember what I was, what I was saying now. I know that there's a true relationships take work and they take communication.
Yes.
And you have to both be interested in communicating with each other. You can't be playing games. 5,000 years ago, there was no internet. And when you met someone and you liked each other, you didn't say to yourself, oh, there's probably another 5 or 10 of those down the line. Uh, I don't need her. I don't need him. You know what? It's gotten us into trouble here because if a person always thinks that there's a lot better down the road, a lot prettier, a lot sexier, a lot more handsome, it makes it very, very difficult for someone to get their heads together and settle down. And that's, I think, the biggest challenge that people have right now. They don't just join one service, they join 3 services or 4 services or who knows how many. And all they do is swipe and they're making a big mistake. It's not that the internet is bad. The internet's great. People have gotten together. They've met each other. It's fantastic. It's the
Well,
people entering into the internet that don't have their stuff together that ruins it for them and the person that they're dating.
yeah, no, because okay, so I was widowed at 31, right? And I spent many years alone, quite a few after my wife passed away. And it got to a point where a friend of mine, she was like, we need to get you back into the game. So she set me up a profile on match.com. And that's where I met my wife. And prior to my wife, I went on a few dates with some women, but once I got with my wife, it was like, okay, this is someone that we our first date was at a bowling alley. It was actually a bowling alley in Manhattan, and it was a great time. We had a great experience, and then after that, we went to dinner. She came, met my family, and we dated for a year before I finally decided to move to Pennsylvania because that's where she lived at. I was living in
Wow.
New York. She lived in Pennsylvania, but she was commuting to work. And so that's how we started. We met on the dating service. So it has its advantages, and then but there's people that all they use to the dating service is to go sleep around. And if that's their choice, that's their choice. But me, I wanted to be in a relationship. I wanted to be with someone that I could enjoy and spend time with and grow old with.
That's the big thing. I mean, when you get to, I guess, our age, we're not that far apart. You don't want to be alone as you get a little older. You don't, if you take a little ill and you're laying in bed, you can't do anything. I don't know. I don't want to be alone. I want my daughter there. I want my wife there. And if my wife takes ill, I want to be there for her.
Yeah.
And it's great to see my daughter, 18 years old, react. We went through whatever everybody else went through a year or two ago, and she was there for us. She helped us. And it's those moments when means everything. The hot sex, again, I will never put down hot sex ever. But it's got to be a lot more than that. And connecting with someone's soul, you just need to be willing to do it. And if I can just say that the way to do that would be to stop thinking there's 101 choices and make believe that the one in front of you right now is God's choice for you right now, not necessarily forever, but God puts them in front of you for you to figure something out. And if it doesn't work out, okay. But we all have to heal ourselves. We're all damaged goods right now. We really are, especially there's so many when I look around all around me and I see single women in their 40s and 50s and 60s and plenty of single men that are alone, and I just feel a little bit bad because I just don't think that they were willing to make certain compromises to allow someone into their heart. And I want to say this is super, super important. You ever watch those dating shows like the Bachelor and the
Yeah.
Bachelorette? Everybody watch them.
Yeah.
When I would hear the women say, I am so strong, I am so independent that someone's going to have to, if they're going to be with me, they're going to have to want to be with a strong, independent woman. Oh, God bless her. Because a good man wants to feel like he can find a space in someone's life. And if someone's bragging around how independent they are, how strong they are, well, what is that real? First of all, it's probably not true, but it just says they're not willing to let anyone into their lives to play an important role. And a man, a good man or a good woman can only become involved if they feel they can play an important role.
Okay. It's funny because my wife is a strong, independent woman, but she wants me to be the man.
Perfect.
So regardless of how strong and independent she is, she always points out, like, I want you to be the man. There's things, and she'll let me know. You're messing up, buddy. I need you to correct this.
Man up.
Because I need you. Yeah, I need you to. You're the man.
You're
And
bringing up.
as far as, and like I said, she's strong mind. My wife is. She's a business genius. She's like, and so, but again, she's also wanting to, like I said, she's independent and what, strong woman, but she wants her man to be the man.
That's fantastic. I brought up Dr. Pat Allen before. People should really look her up and purchase her books. One of them is called Getting to I Do. It sounds like it's a book of how to get married, but it really isn't. It's a book on how to prepare yourself and how to prepare a relationship for long term. So in the book, she talks about two very, very important things. She talks about masculinity and femininity. Okay. So for 5,000 years, the man, and obviously the man was no smarter or really stronger other than physically, the man was the masculine one, the assertive one, and he went after the woman. I always say Fred Flintstone and Wilma.
Mm-hmm.
Fred was the aggressive masculine. He went out to work. Wilma had an incredibly important job of keeping a family together, raising a child. There's information out there that's putting that down for the last 50 years, putting it down that it's bad for a woman to be home raising a family. I believe that that's the worst information that's ever come down. And I don't think it's come from anywhere within our country. I think people have decided if we're going to beat up America, we got to do it from the inside out. We're not going to throw bombs at them. We're not going to throw grenades at them. We'll never win. But what we have to do is we have to, if we're going to beat up the people, we have to undermine them, undermine everything that they're doing. And so we have to be so vigilant. Now, on the other hand, the females for 5,000 years were the feminine receptive ones. Now, people say, "Oh, you're making the fact the weaker." Not at all. The woman is the one who made all the decisions, whether she'd say yes or no to the man. She was fully in charge, but it was the man's job to pursue her, and it's her feminine receptive job to say yes or no. And so what people don't realize is in the last 20 or 30 years, everything has gone upside down and inside out. The women have gotten very masculine in nature, very assertive and very aggressive. And that's okay at work, but it's never going to work in relationships if you want to have love in your life. And what they've done to the men, because I remember when I went out to Los Angeles in the 80s, like I told you, and I left Boston and I had a lot of different experiences, relationships, and I went out to LA doing the same kind of thing, being aggressive, being assertive. I couldn't get a date. I couldn't get a date. And I realized it was because the women out there were aggressive and masculine. They wanted to pick the guy. They wanted the guys to be feminine and receptive. And it's not just out there, it's everywhere now. So men are completely confused about what to do. They don't know whether they should be assertive with a woman or not, because they're figuring out that if they just lay back and become that feminine receptive, they get more action. They get more sex, they get more relationships. But here's the problem. The woman deep inside truly wants her man to do what you said. Man up, be a man. And after she's playing the masculine aggressive role with a feminine receptive woman, she's going to get sick of it. And that relationship will not last. And she says the only relationship that can last is The masculine, assertive man with a feminine, receptive woman. It's the way it's been for 5,000 years. Some energy outside of our country is trying to say that's wrong, it's bad. Bruce Starr, you're wrong and bad for saying that. Women are not this, and women. I'm not saying women are anything, but for 5,000 years, what worked was a masculine man picking and choosing a woman, and then it was her part whether she was going to receive him. And here's another thing that doesn't work with the masculine feminine thing. If a woman picks a man, and I know you're going to be able to relate to this, bring it on. Hey, what's cool? We'll take on if you're pretty enough or sexy enough. Come on, let's have it. Does that mean you're crazy about her? You didn't pick her. She picked you. So when all of this stuff going on, the women are getting mad at the men because they were the mama. They picked them. They bought the clothing. They took them out to dinner. They took them out, did everything, acted like the aggressive, assertive man. The problem is, yeah, okay, I'll take all that stuff, but he's not falling in love with her and didn't pick her. And it's another reason why it can't last.
It's okay. So I have another show that I do with my nephew, and one of the topics we discussed one day was, why is it that men find it that why are men find it much more difficult to say I do? Like why are they? And to me, it's they're looking at it as, what am I getting out of getting married? Why should I get married? What am I getting out of it? And it's just sad. It's sad. I'm married. I love my wife. We decided to to be together. But a lot of men out there nowadays don't see the value in getting married.
Because it's all mixed up. They're not able to pick the woman. So if they can't pick the woman to fall in love with, to take home to the mother and the father, they're not going to say I do, because it's a mismatch. They're not getting the opportunity to be the assertive ones, which is, it's inbred in us for 5,000 years. It's the way it was.
Yeah.
Men haven't changed that much. Women have changed. Men are going to have to change if they think they're going to get any action at all. And my message is, ladies, don't try to be the man. When you meet someone, don't go up to him and say, hey, you're a good looking guy, I'd like to get to know you. Don't do that. There's a better way of doing that that will solidify a relationship, not have you be the aggressive man. And the way to do that
is make him think he chose you.
How do you do that? You make eye contact and you smile.
Yeah,
if that man is available, if he likes women, if he's available, he will go up to you, because that eye contact and that smile is code for, if you come over to me, I'm not going to embarrass you, and I'll have a conversation with you.
Yeah. It's me and my nephew have some great conversations, and one of his ideas, and my wife saw a clip of this on TikTok that he put out, and he feels that, hey, maybe we should marriage should be contracts, like a certain length, and if you decide to keep on in the marriage, you extend your contract. And my wife saw that clip, and she came and she's like, oh, so you think we need a contract, huh? I said, no, you didn't see, all you saw was a little clip of what we said. You didn't understand the context of what we were talking about. I said, you need to really sit down and watch the episode, and then you'll see why we said the things that we said. But that's not what I believe.
Where's the love? And that's the thing. If you don't get together for love, if you get together for the best deal, which is body trading, if you have enough of what I want, I'll give you what I have. There's no love there. It's horse trading or what I call body trading. I've written 2 books they've been published in the last month or so. One is called Body Traders, Transforming Back from Player to Lover, which explains this whole thing that we're talking about. And it can help any person who's had their heart broken get back to having a loving relationship. And I've written the second book. I'm going to show it right now. It's called Her Teen Love Coach. I changed it. Her Teen Love Coach. And it's about a story for teenagers, how to not get into trouble so that they have the best chance of having a heartfelt relationship as an adult. Everybody knows right now about all the broken families. So many broken families. So if there's a one-parent family and the mother's the one parent, what does she have to do? She has to work 2 jobs, 3 jobs to pay the bills. Where is the parental guidance for that child? There is none. Now, with this book is a guide. It's a manual to help any teenager get through their 13 to 18 years basically as unscathed as possible so that they can have a loving relationship. Because if they get ditched and get their hearts broken too young, which is going to happen if you're too young, that's when you have a tough time when you're an adult. So go to Amazon.com. They're published on Amazon. Put in my name, Bruce Starr, and you'll see these 2 books. Purchase those books. Purchase those books for your daughter, your son, for your friend's daughter, for your friend's son, because this book is going to save misery for eventually millions of people, I truly believe.
Awesome. Yeah, it's great. So did your daughter have any input into the book? Did you ask
No,
her, being a teenager?
I just used a little bit of her voice in the dialogue. See,
Yeah.
the 13-year-old meets a really super decent guy. It takes her a long time to get used to him in a Central Park on a bench, and they're feeding the birds, and they have that thing in common. And this guy is like a magical, mystical relationship coach for her that answers every one of her questions over a 5-year period of time. I mean, all I know is that someone says, how did you write a book for 14, 15-year-old girl? I have no idea. All I did was I just listened and typed as fast as I could, call out whatever it is, and 270 pages later, it's a manual to keep girls and boys out of trouble in their teenage years.
Awesome. So Bruce, now is where you actually get to plug everything, your website, your books, everything.
Well, the Open Heart Movement is that's my website. You can find everything there that you want. I am a professional speaker. I'm a seminar presenter. I'm a relationship coach. I do one-on-one coaching. I mean, this is by far some of the most valuable thing that I can do for you, because if you don't have love in your life, you need to put yourself in a position to have love in your life, but you can't do it yourself because you only know what you know. You don't know what you don't know. Everyone could use a relationship coach, a one-on-one coach, just like this girl in my book. She had a relationship coach for 5 years, and she made it into her adult years without a broken heart, without feeling nasty about relationships. So anyone at any time could have a one-on-one relationship coaching session with me. Try it for 15 minutes. I'll even give you a free 15-minute free conversation that we can have. But who wouldn't want someone, when you're a business and you don't know something and you're trying to break out of 2 or 3 losses in a row, years of losses, what do? You hire an expert. You hire a consultant. So that's what a relationship coach is. What's more important than love? To me, nothing. I left Hollywood because I wasn't about to find love out there. I left everything behind and I came back east, and I've been on this path of sharing what I've learned. In over a 10-year period of time, I went on the internet and I had over 6,000 detailed, intimate, documented conversations with people from all around the country. I did it to help them. But after hearing their stories, I wrote Body Traders, and that's going to help anyone. We all need help. We all need coaching, and don't be afraid to admit it. Reach out, pick up the phone or an email. My email, you'll see it on my website, Love Coach. It's LUV Coach 1 at gmail.com. LUV Coach 1 at gmail.com. And if you call me when you hear this, I'll give you a 15-minute session, no questions asked. I'd be glad to do that because I want to be here for everyone. But I also know that if you don't invest in yourself, you don't value it. So that's what I wanted everyone to know. I'm going to be setting up speed dating groups everywhere in the country. Mix that in with preparing foods. It's a whole new way of doing things. So I'm excited that we're past all this stay-at-home stuff, and we're all ready to go out and meet someone. And I'm going to help as many people as possible do just that. And thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh no, I appreciate you. I'm reaching out like I said, the last time you was on, I was strictly audio. I was not video. Now it's video, and to me, coaching is very important. Not just in love and life general, just in life in general. I think everyone should have a coach.
Everyone, a mentor, a
Mentor,
coach.
coach. That's what I've been focusing on as far as my show is now, is having coaches and entrepreneurs and to come on to let people know that it's okay for you to have a coach. It's okay for you to have a mentor
Absolutely.
because again, we don't know everything. You only know what you know.
You don't
So
know
you
what you
want to
don't know.
surround, yeah, you want to surround yourself with people. You want to learn from people that are doing what you want to do. So Denzel Washington has a coach. A lot of the great actors have coaches.
Absolutely. Couldn't have done it without them.
So for us to think that you can just go through life and not have someone mentor you or coach you, that's where a lot of people fail at.
That's right. Right. And you're not weak for admitting that you need assistance. You're strong. You're stronger than a bunch of people who won't admit that they need help. You're the strong one. So go ahead and do something about it, something that's important to you. You might
But
not have
again,
even known that there's one-on-one relationship coaches out
but
there.
again, that's come from somewhere where we come from a generation where that's not what we're taught.
Yeah.
We're not taught to go seek help or get coaching or no. And so now you have people like close to our age that don't know this, that they're figuring out now later on in life, like, damn, I should have had someone to speak to, someone that I can go reach out to and talk.
I got to tell you a quick story real quick.
Yeah.
A woman called me the other day. She was married for 50 years. She lost her husband, so she's obviously 70, 71, at least something like that. And she called me and she goes, I don't know what you do. Your friend told me to call. I don't even know what you do. I said, oh, well, I'm a relationship coach, this, that, that. So I said, would you like to get into a place where, because she said she's already been on the internet and she's already been dating. It's terrible. I said, you should, and I should work together. So life has changed dramatically in 50 years, dramatically since you dated last.
Yeah.
And she says, oh, no, I don't need any coaching. I'm just starting back into this dating world. And I'm saying, that's exactly why you need some coaching so you don't make big old mistakes that so many people are making that are unprepared. So it can be very tough out there. And the only way it could work on that internet is if you prepare yourself to be the best person you can be, so that when you meet a great person, boom, it works.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But Bruce, this has been great. I appreciate you coming through. This is the Valentine special that will be out Valentine's Day. So um again, appreciate you coming through. It was great having you on again.
You're a great
Anytime you
guy. I look forward to working with you again.
oh definitely. I always enjoy collaborating with former guests and that's one thing I love about podcasting is building these relationships and networking and being able to learn from other people. Like I don't know everything. So whenever I get the chance to speak to people and they get to share what they know, I'm all for it. Especially if it's out there to help people. And this is something that people can really definitely use as relationship tips and advice where they can actually improve their relationships with the significant others.
And one last thing, what's really amazing? See what we're doing here? You're on one side of this and I'm on the other. That's how relationship coaching can go from anywhere in the world. You could be
Mhm.
anywhere. We don't have to be in the same room. That's what's so amazing about technology. Use it in a good way. Well, thank you, buddy. Take care.
I
Thanks
appreciate
for
you
having
coming through. Don't leave just yet. Let me close out the show and we're gonna chat a little bit.
me. Great.
All right. So thank you. All right, so now it's time for shout outs. Big shout out to my Real Wise fam, Bobby J, Brandy J. Love you guys. Big shout out to the boss lady, Fina. Love you and appreciate you, baby. Big shout out to my man, Bruce Starr, for coming through. Once again, it was great having you back on the show. And as always, a big shout out to all the essential workers out there. God bless y'all. Be safe. You know your boy Wise does it. Peace out.